All right, so get ready for a deep dive. I should put this.
Yeah.
Into the world of what ifs. Like those thought experiments about if we could travel faster than light and what would it mean to colonize space, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, we're going to be using a fictional story called Quarantine by Edward H. Parks as like a jumping off point.
Okay.
I know you might be thinking, a fictional story. Are we just going full sci-fi nerd here?
Yeah.
But trust me on the way this story handles like the technology side and like why people would even want to explore space in the first place, and even like the ethics of running into aliens.
Yeah.
It'll get your brain working for sure.
Okay.
So picture this. You're being let in on a top secret project, and this project, humanity's finally cracked faster than light travel. And guess what? You're one of the first people who get to go to another star system. Yeah, that's the situation our main character, Barry, finds himself in. But he's not just along for the ride. He's the engineer who actually has to make interstellar colonization a reality. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And the story just throws us right into it. Barry gets whisked off to see this super secret spaceship. Right away, we hit with this single stage to orbit capability. So think about it. No more giant clunky rockets. This thing takes off like a plane, just keeps going straight out into space. Talk about a game changer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting because single stage to orbit technology, that's kind of like the holy grail in aerospace engineering. It would make space travel so much more efficient, so much cheaper, but it's not easy. There are some massive, massive engineering challenges to overcome. So yeah, by just casually throwing it in there, the story really shows you just how unbelievably advanced the tech behind this faster than light drive is.
For sure. And speaking of that drive, the story doesn't really go into detail, just mentions distorting space. It's like they're saying, oh yeah, bending the universe to our will, no big deal, we do that now. Ha ha. But is there actually any real-world science behind this faster-than-light travel idea? Or is it all just fiction?
Well, it depends how much you want to bend the laws of physics, I guess. There is this theoretical concept. It's called the Alcubierre drive. It basically says you could, theoretically, manipulate space-time itself, like create a warp bubble around a spacecraft.
Warp bubble.
Yeah, imagine a surfboard, right? Riding a wave. The surfboard is your ship. The wave is this warp bubble, and you're essentially surfing on the fabric of space-time.
So you're not going faster than light within the bubble itself. You're just like warping space to create a shortcut.
Exactly.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing, but there's a catch. The energy you need for something like this, it's astronomical. Literally astronomical. We're talking converting entire stars into fuel. And, well, that's a tiny bit beyond what we can do right now.
Okay, so maybe not for next Tuesday then. Ha ha. But it's definitely fun to think about. And in the story, this technology, it lets them fly around the solar system like it's nothing. They do a quick pass by the moon, Mars, even swing by Saturn to take a look. And that scene where Parks describes Saturn from space, man, it is breathtaking. You can practically feel how much awe Barry's in. But then just like that, they keep going. Right past the solar system, headed straight for the stars. Which kind of makes you wonder, with this amazing technology, why the rush to go interstellar? Why not, focus on getting settled closer to home first?
Well, I think it really gets at what motivates people, both in the story, but also in the real world, too. Like, you got to remember, the story kind of hints that Earth's not doing so hot. Resources are drying up. The population's booming. Maybe the people in charge see going to other stars as, like, a necessity, a way to make sure humanity doesn't just vanish.
Right. It's like that classic human drive to expand, to find new territory, but like on a cosmic level now.
Exactly.
But wouldn't you say that in their rush to colonize, they've gotten a little, narrow-minded?
I think that's a fair point. The story definitely paints this very, America First picture of space exploration, almost like they're trying to build an American empire among the stars,
Yeah, and they don't even seem to care about the fact that they might run into other intelligent life out there. Remember that line? Something like, if we find aliens, we'll call the shots. It's kind of harsh, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
So,
yeah.
Realistically, would first contact really go down like that, this whole screw 'em attitude?
I really hope not. I mean, throughout history, exploring new places has often meant exploiting those places, too. But when we're talking about aliens, things are way more serious. We could be talking about a species just as smart as us, with its own culture, its own history. To just assume we'd be in charge. It's not just arrogant, it's incredibly, I'm not sure what the English word would be.
Short-sighted.
Yeah, short-sighted.
And not to mention incredibly dangerous.
Exactly, and that's where Quarantine takes this super dark turn. Just as Barry's starting to have second thoughts, wondering if what they're doing is even right. Their ship slams into something out in deep space. An invisible barrier.
And it's not like a fender bender either, right?
Hmm.
This is a ship going faster than light. It hits this thing and is instantly vaporized. All that energy, all that matter, just gone. In this massive burst of radiation.
Oh,
Talk about a reality check. What could possibly cause that kind of reaction on a cosmic scale?
it's left pretty open-ended, but that's where it really starts to tap into some real anxieties we have about the universe, you know? Like, think about the Fermi paradox, the idea that if intelligent life is common, why haven't we found it yet? Well, maybe this barrier, this catastrophic encounter, is one possible answer.
So, like, we aren't alone out there, but there are rules we have to play by, and we just broke one really badly.
Yeah, and there are consequences.
It's like we barged into someone's house and expected them to just hand us the keys without even saying hello.
It's a scary thought, but a believable one. What if there are these really advanced civilizations out there and they've set up these boundaries, not just to protect themselves, but to protect the galaxy from reckless species who just want to expand without thinking about the cost, you know? Species like us.
It's easy to think of ourselves as the top dogs in our little corner of the universe. So easy that we forget there's a whole universe out there. Maybe we're the new kids, stumbling around, totally clueless.
And quarantine does not hold back on showing what happens when you're that arrogant, that blast of radiation. It basically wipes out most life on Earth. Humanity's ambition ends up destroying it.
It's a bleak ending, for sure. But it's also a warning.
Right, absolutely. It's a reminder that our urge to explore, to conquer new frontiers, it's gotta be balanced with a little humility. We don't have all the answers. And the universe, it definitely doesn't play by our rules.
It makes you wonder, what do those advanced civilizations, if they're out there, think of us? Are they watching, judging our every move?
Yeah, it's a question that's, been bugging people for centuries. Are we being watched? Is there some super smart alien civilization out there just waiting to see if we screw up again? Or are we just a little blip to them, too small to even notice?
Or maybe, and this is where quarantine gets really interesting, what if we are being watched but not in a way we can even understand? Like, what if those rules of the game, the ones we were just talking about, they work on a whole other level, something beyond our science, beyond our philosophy even?
That's what's so cool about fiction, It lets us really play with those mind-blowing ideas. What if that barrier wasn't actually a physical thing? What if it was like a cosmic immune system, some kind of defense mechanism built into the universe itself that takes out any species that gets too big for its britches, too reckless, too eager to expand without thinking of the consequences?
Like a cosmic safeguard, yeah.
Yeah,
One that kicks in when a civilization gets a little too cocky.
exactly. See, we tend to look at everything through our own little lens, But what if our limited experience is blinding us to something much bigger, much weirder than we can even imagine?
It makes you feel pretty small, doesn't it? To think that for all our fancy technology, we might just be scratching the surface of what's really out there.
It does. And that's the power of stories like Quarantine, They use fiction to hold up this mirror, to show us our dreams and our feels about exploring space. They remind us that every action has a consequence. And sometimes those consequences, they can spread out in ways we never even thought possible.
Like ripples in a pond. It's almost like quarantine is a roadmap or maybe a warning sign for the future of space exploration, A reminder to be a little humbler, a little more aware that we're stepping into the unknown, and that unknown could be way stranger and, scarier than we ever imagined. So next time you're staring up at the stars, just remember someone or something might be staring back. And maybe, just maybe, they're hoping we make the right choices. This is The Deep Dive, signing off for now. But we want to hear from you. Do you think humanity's ready for the challenges of interstellar travel, of colonizing other planets? Head over to our website, find us on social media, let's talk about it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep looking up.